Hi everybody, welcome to another video. I know it's been a long time, but I've got this car here, a Mazda 3 active, Sky Active, and the battery needs replacing. How do I know that? The customer reports that he has the battery service management failure error that comes on the screen. It's yellow. I apologize, the battery's already been changed, but I wanted to make this video just to show people or help people on how you can swap an AGM battery or an EFB battery, which this car takes. Now, some of you are saying, okay, a battery is a battery, you know, just disconnect the positive negative cable, take the old battery out, put the new battery in, and job done. Unfortunately not. So those are your standard batteries, but some cars now have either an AGM battery and an EFB battery, and now those batteries are specifically for cars that have the start-stop functionality. And when I mean start-stop functionality, I'm not talking about this here start-stop button. I'm talking about the start-stop functionality. And what that is, when you're driving along and you stop your car at a giveaway, then the car turns off automatically. The moment you put your foot on the clutch again, put it into gear, the car starts up. That's called start-stop functionality. It's a functionality that's been around for quite some time to reduce fuel in traffic and obviously pollution. So that's called start-stop functionality. If your car's got that, then you're more than likely to have an AGM battery and an EFB battery. Because of that technology, you can't use a standard battery. An AGM battery and an EFB battery are specifically designed to manage that type of system. So I'm gonna explain as best as I can and go through the procedure, but I just want you to just start off with what an AG and EFB battery is. And the problem in this car was the car starts fine, but the start-stop functionality is not working, and the battery service management failure message comes up on here. In this car, the start-stop functionality is called iStop. There you go, iStop, on and off. Some of you that have the start-stop functionality may not like that feature, so you turn it off. But that's the switch here to turn that off here in this car. And it's keyless entry, this car as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you the battery under the hood and just explain to you the next steps. Okay, so we're underneath the hood here now, and I'm going to take you straight to the battery. And on the Mazdas, what you'll notice is on the negative cable, you see a sensor. Okay, and you can see here this is an EFB battery. The old one just basically said it was the original battery that came from the factory and said start stop. And when you check online, when you're trying to buy a battery for this, you'll know it'll come up with the EFB. So that's an EFB battery, and you can see the sensor here, which is for the start-up functionality. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this sensor, there is a particular feature or step process that you need to follow. So before we even take the battery off, or before you take the battery off, what you need to do is to make sure that this bonnet is shut. Okay, you make sure that the bonnet is shut, and then you have to go through some procedures in the car where you're holding down the accelerator pedal, pressing down the iStop button, and some lights will come up on the dash, and when those lights are turned off, then you come and you open up the bonnet, and then you remove the battery. And what that does is just it puts the car in some, not learning mode, but it sort of keeps the battery management system in check before you remove the battery. So I just wanted to show you the battery here. Yeah, it's an EFB battery. There you go, there's the sensor. So I'm going to go into the car, and I'm going to show you the first process that you need to do before changing this battery. So I'm going to close the bonnet, which is important, and we'll go back into the car. Right, okay, so we're back into the car. So make sure the bonnet is shut. We're going to go through this procedure first that you need to do. So this is a keyless entry car, so the key is there. So what we want to first do is switch the ignition on with the engine off. So that's going to be, I haven't got my foot on any of the pedals because I just want the electrics on. So if I do that, screen turns on, but that's not on yet. That's on. So the lights on the dash, you can see that. That's the first step. The second step is you got to make sure that the car is in neutral. It should be in neutral anyway when you're parked. Or if you're automatic, it should be in neutral there as well. So the third step will then be perform the following with the brake pedal depressed. So the brake pedal is the middle one. In fact, if you don't know what the brake pedal, accelerator and clutch is, you probably shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be even driving. Anyway, enough of the jokes. So what we're going to do is you're going to have the brake pedal pressed during this time. And then while the brake pedal is pressed, press the accelerator pedal for 5 seconds or more, right? Then verify that the charging system warning light and the master warning light flash. So the charging system warning light will flash, right? And the battery charging light will flash, right? Once that flashes, you then let go of the accelerator, and then you press the accelerator 3 times. So press the accelerator down 1, 2, 3, okay? And then verify that the charging system warning light illuminates and the master warning light turns off. So it illuminates and it turns off. Then you can let go of the brake pedal, and then you switch the ignition off. So I want to switch the ignition off. Great. And now I'm going to go and open up the bonnet and remove the battery. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. Obviously, I'm not going to take the battery off now, but I'm just going to show you the procedure there. And then what we have to do is come back into the car, and then we have to, not program, but we have to then relearn the iStop feature, your windows, your auto windows going up and down, with one touch. So we're going to relearn all of that into the system. So I'm going to open up the bonnet now. Once you've done this procedure, you can now open the bonnet and remove the battery. So let's go there now. Okay, so you've gone through those procedures in the car with the battery service management light flashing, and then it switches off. And then you come here into the car, and what you do, first and foremost, take these clamps off. Very easy. These are 10mm. You can use a 10mm socket or wrench. Take this off, and then what you do is you disconnect the negative terminal. Now you disconnect this sensor, leave that aside, then disconnect the negative terminal, put that on the side. Then you remove the positive terminal, put it on the side, and then remove the battery. Be careful not to rest the battery here. This is the computer. You don't want to damage this, so just take the battery out. This has got a handle, so it's good. Unfortunately, the original battery did not have a handle, so had to be careful how I took that off. But you take that off, put it to one side. Then you put your new battery in, put everything back, make sure everything's clamped down. But what you don't do is you don't connect the sensor wire. If you do that, it will cause issues with your battery management system. It will learn the voltage incorrectly, or learn the old previous one. So what you want to do, you want to put the negative pulse back. You'll put the positive first, then the negative, but don't connect the sensor. Okay, once you've done that, you need to leave it for about 5 to 10 seconds, and then after 5 to 10 seconds you can connect that sensor. Okay, and then you can close the bonnet, and then you have to go through the next step, which I'll show you. Okay, so we're back in the car. So at this point you would have replaced your battery, connected the positive terminal, and connected the negative terminal, but without the sensor. First you wait about 10 seconds. I said 5 seconds before, but 5 to 10 seconds, and then you connect the sensor. Once you've done that, close the bonnet, come into the car, and then you do the following steps. Switch the ignition on again and wait for about 15 seconds or more, right? But no longer than like 30 seconds. So again, same thing, keys there, just have the car, press the engine, press the start button, press it again, and the light turns on. So that's your switch there. Switch the car on, or ignition on rather. All right, when you're in this state, then what you do is you press the I stop off switch. That's that button there, or the button. And press this for 10 seconds and verify the flashing condition of the I stop indicator. That's your I stop indicator there. So if you hold this down for 10 seconds, that will start flashing amber. When the I stop indicator lights green flashes, it will then flash green. You move on to the next stop. You switch the ignition off. So you just switch it off from there. Start the engine, warm it up, let the engine warm up. It may already be warmed up, but just start the car, meaning that means now put the clutch down, start the car up. And what you've done there is you've just sort of not programmed the battery, but you got the car or the PCM to learn the new battery values. You know, but if you remember, do not connect that sensor switch straight away on that negative terminal and put the battery in, otherwise you'll have issues with the iStop and the PCM may throw an error. So what you do, you put the negative terminal on first without the switch, wait about 10 seconds, and then put that sensor switch on, okay, or connector. I know I say switch, but it's a connector. Close the body, come into the car, then go through this process that I've just told you, right? Which is turn the car on, ignition on, car off, hold this down for about 10 seconds. The iStop light will flash amber. While you have that held on, it will then turn green. Once it's turned green, let go of everything, and then turn the car off, ignition off, wait about 5 seconds, and then start the car as we have started it right now. Let the car warm up, and now you have to perform the following learning verification. So within 25 seconds you got to switch the ignition on. So again, turn that off. I'm turning the car off now. Switch the ignition on. That's ignition on. And then within 5 seconds, long press the I stop off button for more than 3 seconds. Within 5 seconds, to do it, switch for 3 seconds, hold it down for 3 seconds. The amber light will illuminate. When it illuminates, start the engine. Then long press the I stop off switch one more time. Verify that the I stop warning light amber illuminates to green, and that means it's all good. Yeah. When the I stop light turns off, you then let go of the buttons, and then you can have the car back to normal. I hope that helps. What you can do now is test it. So what will happen is when you're driving, you start the car, go for a drive, verify that the iStop control operation using the following: move the car for about 2 miles per hour or maybe more. You need more anyway. Make sure the car's warmed up. If the car isn't warmed up, then it won't work. While the vehicle is traveling, and you stop at a giveaway, and the iStop should kick in, the car should turn off, and the car should start back up again when you put your foot in the on the accelerator. And you'll also have to relearn the windows. And to do that, you push that down, hold that down for about 10 seconds. While you've got that held down, then bring it up. Then when the window closes, hold that switch down, keep on holding it for about 10 seconds, then let go, and then your auto switch will just work, which you just press that down. When it comes down, lift that switch back up, and it goes back up. This function only works on the driver's side, not on the other side. So that's how it is, guys. Again, sorry I couldn't show you this procedure while I was actually doing it. Issues with the phone, but I really wanted to put this video up to help those, because I know there's a lot of standard battery swaps but not an AGM battery. So just in brief, when you're in the car first, before you open the bonnet and change the battery, you need to go through the procedure where you're got your foot pressed on on the accelerator, on the brake pedal, pressing the I-stop button, and what you have to and the steps. Once that's done, open the bonnet, take the old battery out. Remember, take the negative terminal off and take the connector, sensor connector off. Take the positive battery out, swap the battery with your new one, put the positive connector on, then put the negative connector on the battery without the connector installed, right? Leave the connector out, wait for about 5-10 seconds, and then you put the connector on the battery. Okay, close the bonnet, come into the car, then you go through that final learning procedure, where you switch the ignition on, and then you hold down the I-stop button for 10 seconds, and the amber light will flash, and then it will flash green again. And then once it starts flashes green, you switch the ignition off, start the engine like you would do normally, start it up and let the car warm up, and then you go for a drive. Any questions, please let me know. I hope this helps, and if you've got any questions, like I said, hit me up and I will answer as best as I can. Thanks guys, and drive safe.